Here are the things that I take with me when I'm out mushroom hunting. This is a backpack I got from REI. Works really well. Had it for years. I keep my camera in this neoprene case. And this is an Olympus OM1 with a 90mm macro lens. It's really good for tiny mushrooms. And then I like this little carbon fiber tripod. This is a Siri Traveler 5CX. And this tripod is great because it goes really low. So because the center pole is removable, it can sit right on the ground. I also carry the center pole unless I want to extend it. This thing can go up to about 60 inches. For controlling the light, I like to carry this white umbrella. It's really good for blocking direct sunlight, or you can reflect your lights off of it, or use it to bounce some light up onto the mushrooms. Now to keep the mushrooms, I like to put them in this tackle box. I got this tackle box from the Container Store. I really like it because if you find really big mushrooms, you can take some of these compartments out. And then for really tiny mushrooms, I carry PCR tubes. That way if you find something that's just a millimeter tall, it won't get lost in the tackle box. For larger mushrooms, I like to carry Tupperware containers, or if I find a bunch of edibles, a paper bag. And then if I find trash out in the woods, I'll put them in a plastic bag. For digging mushrooms, I like to use a knife like this. This one's kind of big, but that means that it's really good for like reaching below. And I've had this knife for years, and the hinge still works really well. I like to carry this bubble mailer as a reflector. If the mushrooms were right here, I could put it right in front. It bounces a whole bunch of light up onto the gills, but not too much. I also like to carry a ruler that I can put into the shot for scale. Here's a paintbrush for cleaning dirt off the mushrooms. And the black velvet is really nice for a black backdrop. So you can just lay mushrooms right on here, or you can kind of set it up behind the mushrooms, or if you're trying to do like an ultraviolet shot, you can put this over to block most of the light and then shine ultraviolet light from down below. I also carry this colorful piece of fabric. It looks really cheesy when it's in focus, but when it's really out of focus and blurry, it adds some nice fall colors. I carry a couple ultraviolet lights, 2 of them so I have half as much shadow, and these are 365 nanometer lights, so so you see just the fluorescence, and the camera doesn't pick up the light itself. So you get really pretty fluorescent photos with those. And then I carry a few of these lights. These are Ulanzi lights, and I have a few because I like to set them up. A lot of times I'll put just one of them right there on top in the hot shoe, one of them to the left of the lens, one of them to the right of the lens. And that way you got light coming from all directions, there's no harsh shadows, and you can turn the power on these way down. That way most of your light is natural light, and you can just add a little bit of LED light. I carry a bean bag, or in this case, a sock full of silica gel. So that way, if you want your camera to go lower than the tripod can, you can put it like this, and then you can kind of adjust it here and point it, a little bit up or down, but it doesn't just slide around on the ground. The chopstick is really good. That way you can have the lights up above the ground. So if you kind of take this and put it like this, you can jam the chopstick into the ground and have the light coming down from above. If you have the light coming down from above, it looks more natural than it does when you have a whole lot of light coming up from the ground. Here's a little stand for the light. Bug spray. Here is a pack of brand new razor blades. So these are the Feather brand. They're super sharp, double-sided blades. So you snap them in half, and they're really good for dissecting a flower or a mushroom. Get a much cleaner cut than you would with even a very sharp knife. Now for scale, something that looks a lot nicer than a ruler is colored pencils. And then I keep a sharpener so I can keep the end of it looking good. Here's some microfiber cloth for cleaning lenses. These, they're no good if they get dirty because you don't want to grind dirt into your lens. So I keep them in a sealed Ziploc bag. Here's a coin for scale. For cleaning sensors or lenses, here is a sensor cleaner. This is a lot like a Q-tip, except that the end does not make a lot of fibers like a cotton swab would. Really important is a little USB battery. So a lot of times maybe your lights run down in the field, or your camera runs down, or your phone battery runs down because your GPS app is running. With this, you can just plug this in, maybe right to the bottom of your phone, or right into a camera or light. And this one is a little Anchor one, so it has rapid charge, so it actually charges your devices pretty quickly. Here's sunscreen. Don't really need it deep in the woods, but a lot of times if you're out in the grass or something, it's really helpful. There is some doxycycline in case you get bit by a tick. Little tweezers is really good for arranging mycenas and other little tiny mushrooms. Here's a circular polarized filter. I like to use this if the mushrooms are wet or viscid, so you don't get a lot of hot spots or reflections on the capsule of mushrooms. Here's a clip. This can keep macro photography subjects in just the right place in front of your lens. Or like these normally closed tweezers. An extra shoe for your camera is really good. Sometimes you get out into the field and you don't have one of these to connect your camera to the tripod. Here's a little flash for my Olympus camera. Little tiny tackle box. Here's KOH, or potassium hydroxide. This is really good for recording the color change reactions. A lot of times you want to put this on because if you're not sure what your mushroom is, this can give you kind of a visual indication of what the KOH reaction is. It's really good for identifying Agaricus, Cortinarius, a few other genera. Here's a 30mm macro lens for my Olympus. Here's a 2x teleconverter. So this teleconverter, if you put it in the light path here in the lens, it makes everything twice as big. So you get twice as much resolution, so it's really good for getting really sharp photos of very tiny things. Keep it in a brand new Ziploc to keep the dust off of it. More tackle boxes. Never have too many tackle boxes with you. And a couple safety things so you can save your life if you get lost in the woods or you have some kind of situation. Always good to have a lighter to start a fire, a spare flashlight, an EpiPen, or a Narcan. That way you can save someone's life if they're passed out.